Hey guys, welcome to the series in which I'm building a plastic injection machine, and this is part 6, but it is the second part of part 6. So if you haven't seen the first part, I'll leave a video at a link at the top there where you can go look at that video. So the first part was this top plate which I made over here, and as you can see I've now bolted on these parts here which are going to hold the 10mm rails that are going to help guide the actual pneumatic and the cylinder going down, well, not that going down, the actual rod itself, the plunger into the cylinder. Make sure that that's all aligned. So that's what those are for. And then looking at the design over here, it's going to be like this, just this plate at the bottom with a hole for the chamber and then the 2 holes for the 10mm rods. And as you can see, those are quite big holes for 10mm rods. But I'm going to create little bushings in there so the 10mm rods can go in there, and at the same time I'm going to create a sort of a guide where it goes down so the springs stay centered on the rods themselves. So for the rod at the bottom, I'm going to use this little piece over here, piece of flat bar, and it is, as I measured last time, 6mm thick, and it's obviously going to hold the plate. I'm going to drill 3 holes through it and then just do a little bit of shaping on it. As in the last video, I 3D printed out this bottom bracket over here. This is going to actually a representation of the plate that we're going to make now. And I filled in these holes over here as last time, and this is going to help as a sort of a guide to do basically like a transfer punch, so that I can transfer those holes exactly correctly onto this piece of metal over here. Now to do that, I'm going to do the same once again as last time. I'm going to use this tape method. That worked very well. So we're just going to put a piece of tape over here, like so, and then we'll do exactly the same on the other side. Just like that. And I'm going to cover this over here with super glue, and then I'm going to spray the catalyst on the other side and then stick the two together. So just do that quickly. Put a generous amount of the super glue there, spread it out a bit. Okay, then we're going to take the catalyst and make sure not to spray it on there, like so. And try to line that up as best as possible. About there, looks good. Okay, I'm just going to let that glue down there like that. Okay, now the two are glued together. I'll now use the punch to transfer the holes onto the metal plate. So I'll just use a paint scraper here to separate the two between the tape. So, well, actually just came off completely. Okay, now I'm not sure if you can see, I think you can, but they're the 3 holes, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use a hole saw to drill the center hole, and then possibly a hole saw or a step drill to drill these. So let's go over to the drill press. Okay, to drill the 2 outer holes, I'm going to use this drill bit here. It's a 7.5mm, but that's not really relevant. I'm going to then use this step drill, which goes up to 18mm in diameter, once I've done the pilot hole. I'll do the pilot hole first and then swap over the actual thing, the drill bits. First, let's put a bit of cutting oil on there. Cutting oil. So once that's done, it leaves a nice round hole in the center. Okay, now it's time to drill the center hole here. And to do that, I'm going to be using this brand new hole saw, 37 millimeters hole it's going to drill. I had especially ordered this, had to wait a few days, got it now. So let's drill that center hole. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it went through. Using the hole saw is not my favorite tool. I'm just going to deburr that quickly with one of these tools over here. Okay, and that's what it looks like after being deburred. So let's just measure the inner diameter here, see if it's the correct size. Outer one is 17.89. Let's just make it 17.9. And the same with those ones, so those ones are perfect. And the inner one is using a 37mm hole saw is 38.4. So we added an extra 1.5 millimeters on there. But that's not the important part. The important part is, will this fit now? And this is 37.25, so it's actually going to be slightly too big. And the first one goes through, but the second one will not fit through. So the next step is going to be to get this out again, and then make a slight groove on the one side here. I'll probably use a file over here, just so that that can slip past this thread insert here that I put here that's standing a bit proud. Okay, so let's just file this groove over here. Okay, there we go. So let's see what that looks like from above. Okay, so after that I've got a little notch over here that I've filed out. That obviously allows the chamber to fit in there quite nicely. Next thing is we're going to do is just cut this off and basically cosmetically just make this a little bit round. Okay, so after quite a bit of grinding, this is what it looks like. It's came out quite nicely, not 100% perfect, but it's just a cosmetic thing in any case. So the next thing that's going to be done are these sort of like bushings. It's not going to look exactly like this. So two of these that are going to go on the bottom. They're going to house, basically allow the spring to go over like that to keep it centered, and then the same sort of thing on the top, but it's going to have a little bit of a section that comes out here, so I can press fit it into here, and then that'll sit on top of that like that with the rod going through the center. So let's head over to the lathe and make those, what are these, bushings. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first drill through here to the total length of, to allow 4 of them with a 10mm diameter rod going through the center of that. So I'm going to start with that first. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down and make one of these little parts over here. The first part is I'm just going to obviously face that off a little bit, and I'm going to be using this quick change tool post for the first time. I'll leave a video to where I installed this on the machine above over there. You can have a look at that. Okay, that's 1, 4 to go, which I will do off camera. Okay, at the end of that, I'm left with these 2 parts here that are going to go at the bottom. They sort of came out similar to the 3D printed ones. Like I said, they're going to go on the bottom there like that, and the spring is going to go over that like so, just to help guide the spring. I mean, it's not going to hopefully compress too much. And then on the top, that turned out a bit differently to try to save the actual bit of material here. I just used, you can really see that there's the lip over there. So in other words, that part goes into the spring, and then this part here goes into this over here as a press fit. And then the spring will then, as you can see, it's going to be quite tight, but it's going to go over there. And the same with the other one there. It's going to go over there as well. And then the other side there will just be pressed into there. But for now, I'm going to quickly give this a coat of paint, and then we're going to press fit these into there. Okay, I've given it a coat of black paint with clear lacquer over the top of it. Some of the paint obviously does go into these little holes where we're going to press the, well, I'm going to press the bushings into now. And the bushings have been in the fridge now for 24 hours, or rather the freezer for 24 hours. So I'm going to use the arbor press now to press them in. And I'm also going to use this compound here, this permanent compound. It's not Loctite, but it's the same type of thing, T63, which should give a permanent attachment there. It's also going to act, I think, as a little bit of a lubricant to get the bushings in themselves. So I'm just going to go over to the arbor press now, and I'm going to get the one bushing at a time out of the freezer, put it on there and press it in. Okay, I've got this. This is the first one. Trying not to touch it so as to take heat away from the, introduce heat. Change color as the heat was basically taken away from it. But yeah, that's the first one. First one went in quite nicely. Let's go get the second one. There we go, it's in. And there are the two bushings pressed into the bottom plate. So after pushing these bushings in, this is what it looks like. I had unfortunately cut some of that footage out because my hand got in the way. So I'll have to next time do better, make sure my hands aren't in the way of the camera. But this is what it basically looks like. And another thing that I had to do was I had to repaint this, because when that Loctite, or not that lock, that permanent locking compound, let's call it, gets onto the paint, it's basically destroyed it and you can't wipe it off. So I've repainted this. It's still busy drying at the moment, that's why I'm holding it like that, but that's what it actually looks like at the end. So that's the top plate, or yeah, the top plate. And then, well, it's not really the top plate, it's the plate that's going to hold the chamber. They're the ones that's going to hold the spring. They're going to go together and the chamber is going to sit in the middle. So guys, if you like this kind of thing, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's really going to help the channel out. And if you want to support the channel, you're also welcome to buy me a coffee. And hope to see you in the next video where I'll continue this project.